Tell me how to be disabled. Welcome to Solutions Live number 7. I'm Mona, your host, and here is John McFarlane standing in for our comedic information. I just want to say, I grew up with polio and never thought of myself as handicapped, nor do many of my polio friends. I could do everything and never thought about anything as different. Until one day, as a young adult, I made a movie with my Girl Guides. And after filming, I watched the video and I saw myself getting up from the ground. I was shocked. Wow! I saw how different I looked. Still, I never thought I was disabled. I had a normal pregnancy and everything was fine. Again, until I went to the hospital to give birth. And the nurse pushed me into a wheelchair and said, "Bring her to X-ray for that broken leg." Indignant, I said, "I'm going to have a baby, not a broken leg." This is stress relief from laughter. The Mayo Clinic talks about a good sense of humor and can't cure all ailments. But data is mounting about the positive things laughter can do. Laughter isn't just a quick pick-me-up. It's also good for you over the long term. And here's my good friend, John McFarlane, over in Ireland, and he has a little bit of a comic story.
A bit like you, Mona. Never thought of myself as disabled. I have seen pictures of myself as a toddler walking, and then you're going on from there. There's one incident. You talk about laughter being the best medicine. This goes back to the times of Princess Diana, who was loved by the whole world. And her mother, or her stepmother, was called Acid Rains. Her maiden name was Rains, Raynes. And she had a bit of a tongue on her. And all of a sudden, Earl Spencer, Princess Diana's father, had a stroke. And at the same time as he had a stroke and had to be wheeled about, not with a broken leg, she went and banned wheelchairs from being used inside of their stately home in the public parts. So this rather hit the headlines, and ITV News, which is the other end, is the commercial spectrum over here in Ireland and the UK, got in touch with me and said, "Do you fancy coming and seeing whether we can catch the Althorpe estate out?" And I went, "Yeah, okay, fine." We went up, we got there, and we stuffed a microphone down the back of my wheelchair, in between the side of the wheelchair and me. And myself and this reporter went off, and we were wandering around the grounds, and there we were, and it was all right. And we were getting up towards the house to go in with a wheelchair, power chair, and we're wondering what sort of reception we would get. And we got sussed, because all of a sudden we found out the camera car had actually got itself into one of the driveways, and all of a sudden the cameraman sticks his head out and bellows, "Can you repeat that? We didn't hear it properly." At which point we got wheeled off the estate very quickly. And we did a little bit outside to camera. The only part that got to me, that got onto the 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock and midnight news, was a picture of my backside getting out of a wheelchair. See, that was that one. I've done other bits. If you going back many moons ago, to when I was not long after I left school, I was probably about 19, coming up 20, something like that. Year of the moon landing, that sort of era. And off I go, and we are playing. I am scoring for cricket. That wonderful English game, and I'm also the designated driver for this particular trip. So off we go at lunchtime because the opposition have arranged us to have a pub lunch. So down we go. And there the boys are with their pints of bitter or whatever they had in front of them. And I go out, and that time I was wearing braces and crutches, calipers and crutches. And I'm going out, and I had a tomato juice. That was it. Designated driver, no alcohol. So I'm going out of this pub down in rural Devon, and there are loose rush mats on the floor. Now, you'll appreciate this, Mona. When you're on crutches, you have a tendency to swing through. So I swung through, and my feet hit the mat, and the two mats decided to part. And I gently descended, probably not quite so gently, onto my bum. That was all right. And the lads were coming along saying, "You're all right." But there was these two ladies sitting in the corner, which you may only be described as, I don't know whether you get it over there, as a Mrs. Bouquet type. It's a very prim and proper. And they saw me descend to the floor, and they just looked at me with their sherry glasses in their hand. And one said to the other, "Do you know, my dear, I think the boy's pissed." Never further from the truth. You get these sorts of things. You also get misrecognized and various other bits. I'm in Ireland, and because I went up to a pub one day, there is in fact one of the Offaly players who landed up in a wheelchair, and because I landed up at this do where there was a great deal of the Offaly players, the people who didn't realise kept greeting me by this gentleman's name and saying it was such a pity that you had to retire because you were injured. And I was just sitting there saying, "Yes, it is, isn't it?" In a very cut glass British accent in the middle of rural Ireland.
Yes, yes. Being disabled is a very difficult situation to deal with for some people, especially those who are non-disabled. I'd just like to add a little bit here. Reader's Digest coined the phrase, "laughter is the best medicine." Well, I went along fine until post-polio struck me quite suddenly 33 years later. Now I'm disabled and I don't know what to do. How do I do disabled? How do I get out of a wheelchair? How do I cook like I used to? Why are there so many stairs wherever I go? I never noticed them before. And how do I use the bathroom? Come on, tell me how to be disabled. You have to laugh because I really don't know how. Other disabled people had helpers all their life or are suddenly in an accident and need full-time care. Have the helpers. But us polios, we just did everything on our own. Even when I met my husband at 15 and him at 20, he thought I had a broken leg. And I laughed with him and said, "No, it's polio, but I can still do everything." So naively, foolishly, I just went along. And guess what? So did he. They say love is blind. I guess we both were. Come on, tell me how to be disabled. You have to laugh because I really don't know how. Now, I have a video of this young man, Samuel Habib. He's been handicapped all his life, but now he's turning 21 and he has a lot of questions. Ken, can you put this video on? It's just about 1.5 minutes.
Of ninja patients. If you have a disability, sometimes my patience runs out.
Me too.
Do you have advice for me about sex?
Yes, I do.
If someone doesn't want to date you because you're disabled, that's not the person that you ever want to date. Everyone can be sexual without necessarily screwing. And I'm glad my mother's not hearing this discussion.
I don't mind having a disability. I just wish the world was wheelchair accessible.
Hell yes.
I love who I am when I do not love the impression created on my disability.
The work of achieving social justice for disabled people also means changing societal and cultural values.
Thank you, Ken. And now I have another small blurb from the same person. Ken, if you can put this on at the 8-minute mark.
From the iPad.
I love my brother, but he doesn't have a disability. I want to talk about sex and relationships with Keith Jones.
Caitlin Ramsey, direct support professional, and Samuel weave through traffic.
He has been a mentor for me since I was in elementary school. He tells it like it is.
Who the hell is that grown-ass man in the wheelchair?
So what is ClickUp? ClickUp is an all-in-one productivity software where you can manage everything and anything.
Look at you grown up.
They fist bump.
Well, I say you like
A hand lowers sunglasses over Samuel's eyes. In medical masks, they ride the elevator to a spacious room at the JCC New York to interview Keith, Crip Hop founder and human rights activist. Samuel smiles gleefully as his finger swipes a selection.
Do you have advice for me about sex?
Yes, I do. Rule number 1. Number 2, rule number 3, all the way down to 100, bag it up. Go bag it up. I don't care if you have to pull it over your head to your feet. Bag it up. There are many, many, many ways to negotiate the path to getting in intimate situations. But sex, where it has meaning, where it's not just a physical act, but it's emotional, intimate, it's the full connection with the spirit and the body, that's rare. That comes with somebody who understands who Sam is, knows what makes him laugh, knows what makes him cry, and wants to be there for him the whole time.
After seeing Keith, I went to talk with Maysoon Zaid. She's hilarious. She uses comedy to take down ableist culture.
New York City, the best ever. On time. Hi, how you doing?
Thanks for getting together, Maysoon. It's awesome to be able to talk to you in person.
I hope you don't disappoint me.
I'm trying to learn more about relationships and sexuality. I want to start dating, but it's hard to take that first step. How and when did you start dating?
So like I said, Muslims don't date, we get married. I think relationships are super overhyped, so much work, and that like even sex is so overhyped. My advice for relationships is honesty and being realistic. If someone doesn't want to date you because you're disabled, that's not the person that you ever want to date, ever.
What is the one piece of advice you'd want to tell every young adult who experiences disability about transitioning to adulthood?
The one piece of advice I can give people is you're not alone. Find your community.
He beams. Samuel and family dance in the yard, run on the beach with a service dog Proton.
Well, those were quite the videos, and there is a full movie coming out with Samuel Habib, The Ride Ahead. And we have all had these questions pointed out to us as young polio people, as older polio people, and now as post-polio people. So I wanted to just bring this to light. There are many things that we can laugh about, and Ken, this next one coming up is the ultimate in comedy. It's called Side by Side. And if you would put on this video.
What would it be like if a guy didn't really know the girl he was marrying, you know? And go like this, we got married last Friday. My girl was right there beside me. Our friends were all gone. We were alone, side by side. We were so happily wed when she got ready for bed then. Her teeth and her hair she placed in a chair, side by side. One glass eye so tiny, one hearing aid so small. Then she took one leg off and placed on the chair by the wall. I stood there broken-hearted. Most of my girl had departed. I slept on the chair. There was more of her there. By side.
Well, I think that last one really gives us the idea of what could be disabled. We are people who never expected to be disabled. We grew up with polio and we were told everything is fine, just go on with your life, you can do everything. Well, we did. And John, you also did everything in your life. Is there something about being disabled that you now wonder about?
No. The one question I get asked by people is, would you change anything in your life, including your disability? And the answer is no. Not a thing I would change. I've had a wonderful life. I'm still having a wonderful life. Been married for just over 53 years. I was told once that when I was asked at school, what do you want to be? And I said, I want to be an air traffic controller, which means that you have to learn to fly. And he looked at me and he said, you'll fly when pigs do. He never got his pilot's license, I did. So, you know, so you just go on. The only thing you have to do is meet life head on and just take it as it comes. We're not different to other people. We're exactly the same inside as other people are. We do the same things as other people do. We have the same needs and wants as other people. I'm not just talking about, you know, wanting a house, wanting to be able to do this, wanting to be able to do that. And as you can hear in the background, in every good TV program, the phone rings. You know, we just literally go through life and take it as it comes. In our case, it's thrown a few more obstacles in our way. The only thing is, I happen to be a very good hurdler. So you just have to work on that basis. You fall over, you get up, and I know what you're referring to, Mona, about when you fall over, you see yourself getting up. I used to fall over and I had braces and crutches. And when I used to get up, I used to land up actually going up into a peak like that, and then levering myself up on the crutches. And I always say to people when they ask me about, I'm now in a wheelchair full time, and I say, when I was walking around, and my darling wife actually says, no, you never walked, you were on crutches, and you swung like a monkey going through. You did it that way, and you were just swinging along. And that's what you do. Just take a swing at life, enjoy every single precious moment. You've only got one life. And if you meet people who are ignorant, and you get people making rude remarks, you've got two choices. And the best one I find is just turn around and walk away, and just go on like that. Even when they skid into the last blue badge space, and you're trying to get out to go and do the shopping, there's no point in arguing. You just deal with it. Life, there's a thing called karma. It'll come back and bite them one day. I just like what I do. I've got a fabulous life, filled with laughter, filled with godchildren who cost me a lot and give me a lot of laughter as well. But you know, it literally is that sort of thing. Tell me how to be disabled. Well, you know, you can turn around and say, well, that's easy. Go and get yourself in a car smash. You know, which does happen. But I've got one thing which my wife actually said. We had a great friend who's dearly departed now, I'm afraid, and he suddenly discovered he'd got cancer of the stomach, stage 4, terminal. Expected to live 6 months. The point to the story was he was sitting there one day and he turned around to us and he said, yeah, it's terrible. I've only got 6 months to live. It's absolutely this, that, and the other. My wife looked at him and said, you stupid so-and-so. I'm not going to repeat her exact language. You stupid so-and-so. Who says you've got 6 months to live? You go and get your paper every day from the paper shop across the road. It's on a bus route. Who says you're not going to be flattened? Just take every day as it comes. So he did. 3.5 years later, he died. And the best part of it was that for him, in one respect, was that we got him into a very prestigious golf club. And he got in because I knew the committee members of the golf club. I used to put a pro-am on every year there. So we got him in on what was called the weekday thing, where you could play holes during the weekday, but not at weekends when it's really busy. So the next thing is he gets established and he gets invited to the Saturday club. They meet at 7 o'clock at the house for bacon sandwiches, and they have that. And he was going along and he was able to do it. And he had the greatest pleasure in actually being able to ask his father-in-law to come and play golf at this golf course. And his father-in-law went with glee, and it only turned out later that the reason he was so happy to get there is he'd applied for membership about 5 times and been refused as not of a suitable character. So, son-in-law in stage 4 cancer is able to do something. He actually makes fun of his father-in-law, not makes fun of, but laughed with, and they both enjoyed it. They enjoyed the joke of the fact that they were together on a golf course where the father-in-law wasn't supposed to be, but the son-in-law had got him there, and they had a good laugh together. What it is to be disabled? Answer me a question. You answer me a question, Mona. What's normal?
I really like that one. What's normal? Well, actually, it's a dryer setting on your dryer. It's not a real thing. What is normal? I don't think I've ever met anyone who is quite normal. What we are people with our ideas, and we like to put them across. And the most important thing is talking to people who have had polio and how they have lived their life and how they have added so many dimensions to all the people that they know. My grandchildren know what it is to have a disabled adult in their life, and they deal with it as if it's normal. And there we go. That word is normal. When I went out skating with my grandchildren, I was in my electric wheelchair and they were skating along with me with their hands holding on to one of the arms of the wheelchair and the other one on the other side. And we all skated together. And that is what normal is. There is no such thing as disabled. There is only adapting to our differences. Now I have one more video, and this is from Deborah Wooten. It's a YouTube video that she did several years back, and it is about polio. And Ken, if you would like to put this on, it's about 4 minutes long, and it's a little bit risque, but I think it's a good video.
Make a lot of noise right now for Debbie Wooten!
All right. I'm really not that crippled. I just wanted to fill in my ass. I do have a disability. I do have spinal bifida and polio. And for all you young people who don't know what polio is, because we went through we in a bad virus right now. And I got my shot and I was scared to death. So I went all dressed. You think I'm cute tonight, right? Right? I was really cute on that day I got my shot. I said, well, if I fall over dead, I'm going to be the cutest COVID corpse they ever seen. Well, take this bitch straight to the casket. She already dressed. Yeah, but I had the polio virus. Polio is a brain virus. It affects the signals of your brain. It makes your arms move, your legs move, your lungs breathe, your ability to pick the right man, things like that. Some of y'all women had polio, didn't even know that shit. Your ass had polio. That's what your ass had. But I don't want you to think about that, because I want you to think about me as an old, don't give a goddamn old woman, 65 years old. Her leg only go this far back, but polio leg, it drop all the way back. It's like that, rough Out the way, fellas. I like flirting with all the young white chocolates up in the front. They get all embarrassed, turn red, purple, pink, like little flowers. This is cute. It's cute. But I like flirting, but I've been married 41 years. Thank you. That's 4 husbands, but to me, they're like college credits. They're cumulative, and I had some great teachers. I was a slow learner, that was the problem. But my time is almost up. But I want to say, love yourselves, no matter what you're going through. Keep living your life. I am at 65 years old, polio, spinal bifida, and I love you, and that's why I'm here more than anything, just to spread the love. Thank you.
Well, that was quite the polio comedian, and I'm really pleased that we got to meet her and see her. Deborah also did a talk on one of my Zooms, and she talked about how we have to deal with our second disability. And it wasn't really a comedy show, but there was a lot of comedy involved in it. And one day I will show some of that video to everyone, because it's very informative to be able to deal with this new disability, new polio disability. What we need most of all is to educate the medical profession that it is not gone, it is different now, and this is where we're at with polio. I would just like to end. I think, Ken, you have my my poster about laziness. Okay. Well, I will do is I will just read this poem. The poem starts off, laziness kills ambition, anger kills wisdom, fear kills dreams, ego kills growth, jealousy kills peace, doubt kills confidence. Now what I want to do is I want to read this backwards. Confidence kills doubt. Peace kills jealousy. Growth kills ego. Dreams kill fear. Wisdom kills anger. And ambition kills laziness. That is one thing that we as polio people, we are not lazy. We have a lot of ambition. We have many, many dreams. And I think that we need to go forward and teach the world how to be a better able-bodied person. John, I want to say I am so grateful that you came in at the last minute and helped us with our technical issues. Do you have a few words of wisdom to add to our afternoon here?
Yes, very quickly. We are in North America, Europe. We are dying out. We're like the dinosaurs. Will slowly disappear. But you say about polio people doing things and showing things. Yes, we can. Yes, we do. And you've got to remember there are about 15 to 16 million polio survivors around the world. And every single one of those people has ambitions. Everyone has their own story, and everyone has a story to tell. It may be humorous, it may be not. But every single one of those is a valued human being and a valid human being. Mona, keep on doing what you're doing. It's much appreciated by us all. I just would like to say thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity actually of seeing that video. We have a comedian in the UK who is called the comedian with no voice. He actually does not have a voice at all. It's all done through synthesizers, and he actually won the equivalent of the X Factor. No, you've got America's Got Talent, X Factor over there. Well, he won the British equivalent of the X Factor. So there we go.
There we go. We all have abilities, and this is what I want to show. And I want to show that people with polio can change the way they do things and live much, much better lives for the small changes that we have to make. And boy, oh boy, what a freedom this electric wheelchair has given to me. And now I can let the wind blow through my hair, which I never could before. On that note, once again, John, I want to thank you for all this, for coming at my rescue. It was really, really good of you and good of all the people who are here listening. We appreciate everything. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mona.
Thank you. Good night.